This video is very kindly sponsored by Elgato Gaming. We use their products for pretty much everything we do on this channel. If you guys want to check out how I record my gameplay, then be sure to click that link in the description box down below. Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Borderlands 3. There's actually quite a lot of stuff happening in the world of Borderlands today. Not only is the Bloody Harvest event dropping, which, by the way, if you guys are wondering at what time, is 3 PM PST, which is unfortunately 11 PM BST. I'm going to be asleep then, alright? I value my sleep. But for those of us in the UK, basically tomorrow is largely speaking when you'll be playing Bloody Harvest, unless you don't sleep. Anyway, I digress. Gearbox also dropped a big blog post today, which not only covers some bug fixes and stability things that they have been working on, which I'll recap in a little bit, but they also had a quick roadmap on a few things they plan to work on and have coming to the game ideally very soon. Some of them may be longer term things, some of them may be, further in the future, but some of them are supposed to coincide with the Maliwan takedown, which we believe to be next month. So with that being said, I want to go over some of the main things because there's some really important stuff like a bigger bank, more vault space, so we can finally have more weapons, which is incredibly important because there's no point adding more legendaries if we have no space to store the damn guns. So thanks for that, Gearbox, plus some other stuff like that. But if we start from the top and work through these as they appear in the blog post, they are of course working on performance and stability. They did say that game performance and stability continues to be their top priority, and they said that the first fruits of their labour will be releasing in an upcoming November patch with various improvements game-wide. They did of course say this will continue to be a top priority for them, so whether this is all fixed in November or whether it's kind of a gradual process will remain to be seen. Performance and stability is a complex beast, so the fact they're working on it is really good to hear. Now, second point is of course the bank, the vault, incredibly important. Basically, everybody's number one request right now is please give me more space because, I can't hold, in a game that has over 1 billion weapons, you can hold like 2. Okay, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point, right? So they said that they're going to be expanding the bank, and they said the first of several planned expansions. So this implies there won't just be one, there'll be several, but they did say the first of several planned expansions will coincide with the release of the takedown at the Maliwan's Black site. Expect a significant bank expansion that will more than double the existing space. Additional expansions to the bank will continue to be rolled out over future releases. So we can expect that to go in line with the takedown at the Maliwan's Black site. As mentioned, I believe that's going to be dropping around November. They did say there's a patch in November. I'm not sure whether the two are going to coincide. We haven't actually got a date for the Maliwan takedown just yet. And for those of you guys that didn't necessarily know about that, that is of course the first event that'll actually bring a raid boss to Borderlands 3, which is one of the big things it's currently missing. So incredibly excited for that. So hopefully that'll drop sometime in November. Of course, I imagine when they have their next Borderlands show and they talk more about the roadmap, we'll actually get a better idea as to timeline for that. But basically, when that takedown happens, when the Maliwan event comes around, that is when we can expect more than double increase to vault space. And again, they have said that there will be several planned expansions, so hopefully anytime there's like a big notable update, they'll give us even more space, so anytime they add new guns and stuff, then we have space to store them. So it does of course mean for the Halloween event, we are going to have to juggle things a little bit, so, it's not going to solve it short term, but it is on the horizon, so that's good. Next up, they also said there'll be dedicated loot pools for bosses. They said that many people have been expressing a desire to be able to find gear more easily in the game. So to do that, they're going to be updating the loot pools to ensure that more specific gear drops from specific bosses. Because if you guys have seen the video we did on, say, farming legendaries, you'll know that a lot of the weapons are basically world drops. So you can effectively get them from anywhere, which is convenient on one hand, but also it means that it's incredibly hard to specifically chase something. So the fact they're going to update the loot pool so you can then pick on something particular and say, hey, I'm going to farm this for, I don't know, the Butcher, then that's going to be incredibly useful. Again, that is also going to be part of the November patch. So at some point next month, we'll of course have that to look forward to as well. There will also be character buffs. This I'm incredibly happy to hear. They said that, of course, and we've all expressed this in many times. I've kind of said this in build videos. It's part of the reason that I never put out a flak pet build or a rack build or even like a Moe's mech build, because a lot of the time when you get to end game, you start going to Mayhem 3 or TVHM, the pets and abilities like that don't really scale very well. So when you start using like Zane's clone, or you use the pets, or you use the mech, it just gets shredded in the absolute high difficulty. So they've said that they will be buffing characters, specifically Moses Iron Bear, Flak's pets, Zane's Digiclone and the Sentinel, so the damage can be adjusted accordingly to the relevant skills and gear, so that hopefully they can actually be viable endgame, and that of course then widens out the build possibilities. I really cannot wait to test this out because honestly I had a lot of fun messing around with the flak pet build. I used it for half my leveling journey and it was really good fun, but it's just a shame it wasn't actually good endgame. So if they can make that and make it rival the crit build, then you can bet I want to be switching things up. On top of that, there will also be additional Mayhem levels and Mayhem 2.0. So Mayhem mode was of course the additional difficulty options in Borderlands. You can of course tweak that, and you can of course select that depending on your build and your difficulty you want. But after receiving community feedback, they have said they're going to be working on a significant revamp that'll introduce a host of improvements over several upcoming updates. The first update will be released again as part of the Malawan takedown of the Black Site, and this will include a new Mayhem mode, level 4, so Mayhem 4. And with this, you can expect a significant challenge when it debuts, with tougher enemies that rewards players with quote-unquote highly synergized character builds. So I imagine this will give you much more specific gear pieces, which sounds exciting, and most importantly, a batch of new legendary gear will also only drop while in Mayhem 4 to reward those players who are truly up for the challenge. So again, this will obviously coincide with the increased vault space, the bank space, because with more bank space and bespoke pieces of gear dropping in Mayhem 4, we're of course going to want to hold on to those new items, so that much I cannot wait to see. They did of course say longer term, they have plans to overhaul Mayhem mode with more UI support, new Mayhem modifiers to change the gameplay more dramatically, Mayhem playlists, new rewards, additional levels of Mayhem to work through, so that's all part of the Mayhem 2.0 system, but of course they'll talk more about that once it gets closer to release. Additionally, there'll be more vending machines. Apparently, people have been asking for more vending machines around the world, so they're going to be airdropping them into locations like Athenas, Atlas HQ, Skywall 27, Electro City, Jacob's Estate, Voracious Canopy, Tazendir Ruins, and the Pyre of Stars. They will also be allowing to skip cutscenes. This will of course roll in as part of an update later on, so you can finally skip those cinematics. And they'll actually be adding a target dummy to Sanctuary 3, so if you want to test out your weapons and your builds, you can do that on a target dummy. So, lots of very cool things on the horizon, lots of things that they are going to be working on improving and adding. So, nice to see they're actually listening, nice to see that, especially things like bank space, which is definitely one of the biggest problems right now. It's kind of what's stopping a lot of people from really wanting to just farm and grind all the time, because you're kind of having to delete things or make like mule characters just to hold your items. So yeah, it's going to be kind of cool. Now, of course, I did also mention that as part of this, there were a load of like stability changes and bug fixes. I'm not going to go over all of them right now because, of course, it's a pretty lengthy list. I will link the blog post if you guys want to check it out. But a few things worth noting. They have, of course, added new Vault Hunter customization and trinket options. They've also added the ability to specify Mayhem mode while matchmaking. For consoles specifically, Mayhem mode is now available in True Vault Hunter mode because, of course, that was a bug where it wasn't available on consoles, so that will be active. They've also added photo mode support for consoles, and they've added the EchoCast Twitch extension support also for consoles. So if you stream on Twitch and you play on console, EchoCast will now be something that works when the patch goes live later on today. There are a couple of PC-only fixes. They've improved the reliability of the voice chat system when opening and closing the Echo menu on PC. They've also added modifications so typing in chat no longer prevents players from fast traveling. Apparently, singularity grenades will no longer cause Saurian corpses to float in the air after dying. I can't say I ever experienced that myself. I'm kind of sad that I missed out now. But either way, that's a thing. They've also made it so that the photo mode will now force exit when the player is teleported. Something else kind of important, I mean, just for me, because obviously whenever I'm booting up the game, it always kind of catches me off guard. They've adjusted the volume of the 2K Gearbox logo intro movies, which I'm so grateful for, because that always blows up my eardrums every time I boot up the game. I should be used to it by now, but it still gets me every time it's like, Gearbox! So yeah, that's kind of cool. They included a modification so that the Zane's Digiclone will no longer spawn inside the cage in the Slaughterhouse 3000. They've addressed a concern that projected shields were taking too much damage from the general Trance attacks, and there's a few other things there. Basically, there's quite a few different bug fixes, general fixes, weapon fixes, and stability changes, so if you guys want to check it out, I will link the full blog post in the description box down below so you can read that to your heart's content. But for the time being, that's pretty much it. That's a quick rundown on what you can expect in both the short term and, of course, the longer term. Remember, some of these things are going to be dropping as part of the patch today. That's largely speaking the general stability fixes and things. Meanwhile, the bigger changes, things like bank space and all those other things, will largely speaking coincide with either the November patch or, of course, the takedown on the Malawan's Black Site. So, again, once we get more specific dates for that, I will let you guys know. But for the time being, later on today, we of course have the Bloody Harvest event to look forward to. Reminder, that drops at 3 PM PST, 11 PM if you're in the UK, and of course, whatever other time zones, you can convert that yourselves. That's it, that's what you need to know. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. Any questions, drop them down below, and of course keep it locked for plenty more Borderlands content. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.